I said, if you gave me Mahomes, if you gave me Lamar Jackson with his great legs and Mahomes' great arm, or you gave me Baker Mayfield, who would I want? I would want Baker Mayfield, and the reason why is because Baker Mayfield.
I really think that now this is the worst case scenario for the San Francisco 49ers, is that they're going to have to cut ties with Jimmy Garoppolo if I were them.
What?
Oh my God! Wow, man!
In any event, Kyle Gibson is definitely my NL Cy Young Award winner. Rock on, Gibby.
And even
No way!
Oh my God!
Welcome, everyone, to Sports Weekly. Along with Isaiah Leung, I'm Lauro Antonio. It's just the two of us for tonight, as Ben and some of our other friends will not be with us tonight. So, Isaiah, how's it going?
What's up, Lauro? I'm doing extremely well, man. Just found out today that I officially passed my probation period at work, so I'm officially protected, and I'm in as a member of Alaska Airlines officially, so that's great news, man. And we got to do this show because we have a lot of great sports topics to talk about, man. The Lakers with all the stuff going on there. So in order to get this show going, I brought myself some food, some as you guys can see here, some Pizza Hut. They call it the Pizzone or the Melt. That's what I guess they call it now, but pepperoni flavored, as you can see right there. Looks really good. Got a bottle of Sprite with me, and also I'm gonna be doing the show from the airport where I did the show for when I was doing the show for the last 6 months prior to me getting this Alaska Airlines job. So, yeah, man, back to the old stomping grounds, and I can't wait.
Anyways, here, folks, with that being said here, now we will talk about the Lakers and Thunder. I mean, this was a much better, much needed win for the Lakers in this sense, because you talk about the Lakers big win in Dallas and then playing against Memphis yesterday, and the way the Lakers played against Memphis, pathetic. They blew a lead here, and then they beat an OKC team that they should beat.
I agree with you, Laurel. They had to beat this OKC team. I like this Thunder team. They're young. They're growing. They've managed to mightily exceed expectations this entire year, but the Lakers were the better team. They didn't have LeBron. They didn't have Anthony Davis, which, I wasn't pleased with what happened earlier in the day, which we'll get into later on in the show. But you didn't have LeBron. You didn't have AD. You didn't have D'Angelo Russell. But Oklahoma City was also minus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So it was basically no stars versus no stars. And it was a game of both teams playing shorthanded, both teams playing with their reserves. And I felt like if you compare the Lakers reserves to the Thunder players, I just feel like the Lakers reserves are better because they have more talent, they have more experience, and they are just plainly better than the OKC Thunder reserves. So I was confident going in that the Lakers would win this game. I like Josh Giddey, I like Lou Dort, but the Lakers have better pieces. They're deeper. Malik Beasley, Dennis Schroeder, Austin Reeves, Mo Bamba, Rui Hachimura, and all these reserve players, they shine tonight. Austin Reeves, 19 points. Dennis Schroeder carried the load with 25 points. He was terrific tonight, being very aggressive, even after he severely sprained his ankle, or he severely turned that ankle. It was a very gruesome-looking play. But guys like Mo Bamba, guys like Rui Hachimura, guys like Troy Brown Jr., guys like that, they were able, Lonnie Walker as well. Some of these guys that have been in the shadow of LeBron, AD, and D'Angelo Russell, they were able to just step out and shine and build their chemistry. So I think it was a great deal for the Lakers. It was a great win for them. It was a gritty win for them. I liked how they battled. I liked how some of these young players took control of the situation, especially down the stretch in this game. It was a great win for the Lakers. And, for all the folks panicking about LeBron's injury, folks, I know we'll talk about LeBron's injury later on in the show, but here's the thing. The Lakers, as long as they get into the playoffs, just get into the playoffs, we will be fine because LeBron will be there in the playoffs to start. And that's all we need. We need LeBron healthy, we need Russell healthy, and we need AD healthy come playoff time. So if we could just get into the playoffs right now, I have faith that the Lakers will still be good.
Well, it talks about these things here. My reaction is that with LeBron James out being out the next 2 weeks, I want him to just rest as much as he can. That way he can be healthy for us in the later part of the month of March and heading into April. I don't care about now. I care about him being healthier when it gets closer to like clinching a playoff spot and all that. That's what I want him for. But do I like that the Lakers are holding out Anthony Davis for precautionary reasons due to a sore foot? I mean, the guy's injury prone, so I think that you gotta like hold out Anthony Davis for a little bit. Just that way you get his foot healthy. But you also know that Anthony Davis has had a history of injuries.
Laurel, I respectfully disagree. Today, I lost a great deal of respect for Anthony Davis and also Darvin Ham because Darvin Ham said at a press conference when the second half of the season was about to start, he said that none of the players are going to be resting, none of the players are going to be load managing, and none of the players are going to be having days off because these final 23 games are the most crucial 23 games of our season. We have to win as many of those to get into the playoffs. Our playoff lives depend on it. So having said that, you say that stuff, and then you rest one of your best players in a game that you absolutely positively have to win. You cannot lose to Oklahoma City because the Thunder are, right behind you. You need that extra game up on them, and you need the tiebreaker, and you need to keep pace with the standings. So you hold out Anthony Davis in the biggest game of our season for him to load manage. Why? When you have to win the game. Like, it's absolutely pathetic. And judging based on those comments by Darvin Ham, it's absolutely hypocritical. And, as far as Anthony Davis is concerned, I lost a lot of respect for him because here's the thing. You are the Lakers' only superstar left. You are the Lakers' only superstar left. And you know how much this game against Oklahoma City, how big it was when it came to playoff implications and play-in tournament implications. If the Lakers had lost this game, it would have been a crucial blow to the Lakers' play-in tournament hopes and playoff hopes. The Lakers absolutely had to win this game. It was an absolute must to win this game. And for you to sit out because, oh my gosh, my foot is a little bit sore. Like, come on, man. You played against Memphis. You looked great against Memphis. You looked great down the stretch against Memphis. You were moving extremely well in that game. And then the next game you don't play. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I think that Anthony Davis, you gotta suck it up, man. It's crunch time now. The playoffs hang in the balance right now, and every game means everything for the Los Angeles Lakers and our playoff hopes. So you have to play because you're our only superstar left. Like, the rest of the team, they're decent. They're pretty good. But they're not going to be able to beat some of these teams that you have to beat in order to make the playoffs. So I lost a great deal of respect for Anthony Davis today. I thought he should have played. Darvin Ham, I don't know why Darvin decided to say that, we're not going to be resting any more guys for the remainder of the season, and then he comes in and rests him for the biggest game of the season. It makes no sense whatsoever. The Lakers are lucky that they won today because if they had lost, man, Darvin Ham and Anthony Davis would have faced a lot of heat for what transpired today.
Absolutely. But anyways, here now, with that being said, we got to talk about KD's Suns debut. And I have his stats right in front of me. He had 23 points and 6 rebounds and 2 assists. I'll tell you, that is a great start to his Phoenix Suns career. Chris Paul didn't play good, but you know what? He had 11 assists. But Devin Booker had 37 points. It's the Hornets. Like, the Charlotte Hornets are one of the worst teams in the NBA. Of course, the Suns had to beat them, and they did. And the Suns right now are hanging at 4th place in the Western Conference. Golden State has the 5 spot, and the Clippers have dropped down a bit.
Kevin Durant and the Phoenix Suns, if this was a preview of what the Suns team could be, this Suns team could be all-time scary, especially the Devin Booker, Kevin Durant combination. It could be like Michael Jordan and LeBron James teaming up. I mean, that's how scary this duo could be. Both of these guys were unstoppable. I know it was the Hornets, but both of these guys were unstoppable. Both of these guys were lighting it up down the in this basketball game. Booker, when they tried to double him, they kick it out to Durant, and Durant was going one-on-one, and you can't stop Durant when he's going one-on-one. Chris Paul didn't have a good game, like you mentioned, Loro, but he's gonna get better. I feel like as they, this Big Four plays more and more games down the stretch. But that Booker Durant combination, man, that is going to be an extremely elite and scary combination for the Phoenix Suns, and good luck guarding them, because if you double one of them, well, you can't double everybody. Someone's going to be open, and if it's Devin Booker open, good luck. If it's Chris Paul open, good luck. DeAndre Ayton open for dunks, good luck, man. It's going to be absolutely crazy just to see these guys on offense. Defense, I'm worried a little bit about. But offensively, man, they're going to be really, really scary and dangerous. And, the Phoenix Suns, this was a preview tonight of what the Phoenix Suns can be.
Absolutely. And then you got to talk about the 76ers in Heat right here. 119-96. And with the Sixers win, they stay at 3rd place in the Eastern Conference. And Miami is 33-30. But I'll tell you, since Brooklyn traded Kevin Durant, they're starting to fall a little bit as they're on a 4-game losing streak. But I think eventually somehow that streak could end.
This was a really good game between the Heat and the Sixers. Philadelphia is a really good basketball team. They move the ball extremely well in this game. And Miami, with their defense, they're always known for tough, physical, hard-nosed defense, and they showed it tonight. And I would like to see a series between these two teams come playoff time, because I think it's going to be a really entertaining series. But yeah, this was an outstanding game. I think that the better team definitely won. Joel Embiid was dominant in this game. James Harden did his thing. Jimmy Butler showed up. Tyler Hero was outstanding, but it was a great win. And it's I hope to see this in the Eastern Conference playoffs.
Well, we got to talk about the Celtics and Cavs, and I think that let's take a look at that score right here. That the Celtics won 117-113. I mean, the Celtics. I knew this team is really good. And, this is a young team that I think is going to compete for championships, and I think they'll eventually win a title.
This was an outstanding game. It was back and forth until the Celtics pulled away late. But kudos to Jason Tatum. Kudos to Jaylen Brown. Kudos to, Al Horford, especially down the stretch. This is another game that I think will be a really, really entertaining Eastern Conference playoff series between these two teams. You got the Cavs, young, up-and-coming, energetic team led by Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. And then Boston, you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And I think that potentially if these two matched up, that it could go be a 7-game series. So very outstanding game for both of these two teams. The Celtics were the better team. They showed their veteran leadership, especially late in the game, and that's what ended up helped them prevail and win this basketball contest.
And then we have to talk about a little bit here before we get to Quinn Snyder as the head coach of the Atlanta Hawks, is that the Hornets have gotten bad news. LaMelo Ball has fractured his ankle. He is out for the season. I'll tell you, that is a huge blow to the Hornets. But hey, you know what? I expect LaMelo Ball to come back stronger than ever with this.
You know, the Ball family, I feel so bad for them because they've gotten such bad luck and hit with the injury bug so bad this entire year. You know, have Lonzo with the knee issues he's dealing with. Who knows if he's even going to play another game in the NBA. And then you have LaMelo. I mean, that guy just can't get rid of his ankle issues. I mean, first it's the left ankle. He's injured that like two or three times this season already, and then now it's fracturing the right ankle on just a simple drive where it was a non-contact injury. This was a freak injury. It was a horrible injury for LaMelo Ball. I feel so bad for him. He's one of the shining stars in the game of basketball. It's definitely a brutal blow to the Hornets, but the Hornets weren't really going anywhere anyways. They're one of the worst teams in basketball, but I feel for LaMelo's career because, and this is not career threatening by any stretch of the imagination.
I was saying, Isaiah, it's not career threatening. I do believe that when he comes back next season, he's going to come back even stronger.
Oh, no doubt about that. He's going to come back even stronger, but I'm just worried that, like, can he shake these ankle injuries? Because it seems like he's just keeps getting hurt. Every season he's been in the league, he's had major injuries, like fractured wrist first year. Then the second year, you know, he had all these injuries with the ankle, and you know, ankle injuries are very tough. And you know, Steph Curry had them for a long time. He was finally able to shake off them, but you know, ankle injuries are definitely very, very tough, and I feel bad for the guy. LaMelo Ball is one of the most talented guards in basketball. I think that he definitely could be a top 10 player in the game in the future, and also I think he's going to be the face of the league in the future because he's just so ultra talented and he plays a pretty brand of basketball. But this is a big blow for sure. Feel bad for him. Hope his surgery goes well and it's successful and he has a speedy recovery because the league needs LaMelo Ball. The NBA is more fun when LaMelo Ball is in the league.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. But before we talk about Quinn Snyder being hired as the next head coach, which I have a lot of great things to say about him, and I really think he's going to make the Atlanta Hawks even better. I love Nate McMillan, Isaiah. I know, I do. I think he's a fantastic head coach, but I felt like that he was scapegoated. I didn't think it was his fault, but I felt like that he didn't want to coach Trae Young. That's the thing. But you know what, Isaiah? With Nate McMillan, I am sure, we all are sure that we will see him again as an NBA head coach.
Well, I think the Hawks had to pick between Trae Young and Nate McMillan because it was pretty much well documented that Nate McMillan and Trae Young had lots of issues and that their relationship was not going to be fixed. And Nate McMillan even threatened to resign in December when Trae Young didn't show up to a shoot-around and he didn't show up to a game following and a heated discussion that he had with Nate McMillan. He just walked out and he never showed up. So the Hawks had to choose between Trae Young and Nate McMillan. Obviously, you're going to choose the player over the coach any day of the week. But now the pressure is on Trae Young. If you screw up with another coach, and if you can't get along with another coach, just like you did with Lloyd Pierce, and then with Nate McMillan, Trae Young will be on the hot seat in Atlanta. Trae Young will be on the trading block in Atlanta if he can't get along with Quinn Snyder, because that's three head coaches you could not get along with. And, you know, if it's that many, then the problem is not the coaches. It is you. That's the problem. So Trae Young is on the hot seat now in Atlanta.
Are you saying, but did you say that you think that Nate McMillan will eventually be an NBA head coach again?
I think he's gonna be an NBA head coach. I just don't know when because I don't really see a lot of job openings opening up this offseason since a lot of these teams have already filled theirs mid-season.
No, what I meant to say is that I do think we're going to see Nate McMillan as an NBA coach again, but I don't know if it's a head coach or an assistant coach.
I think we're gonna see. Yeah, I think we're definitely gonna see Nate McMillan coaching the NBA again. I just don't know when. Is it gonna be, you know, next year? I don't think so. Is it gonna be the
Like, what if the
following year?
Hornets fire
Maybe.
Steve Clifford? I think Nate McMillan would be a great fit for the Hornets.
I think I like that fit actually. I really do, but I don't know if Steve Clifford will be one and done in Charlotte. He
Well,
might, though, 'cause
Steve Clifford, I think Steve Clifford is a puppet to Mitch Kupchak.
Well, I think Steve Clifford, he might be one and done because when you think about the Hornets, they were talking about, being in the play-in. And the last couple of seasons, they actually, made the play-in before.
And I don't know why they even scapegoated James Borrego.
Yeah, and now like you talk about the Hornets, they're one of the worst teams in basketball. So like they have severely underperformed this season.
They sure have. But anyways, my thoughts on Quinn Snyder as the head coach of the Atlanta Hawks, I beg your pardon. Sorry, I said Falcons.
It's all good.
What I meant to say is that I think Quinn Snyder is the right fit as the head coach of the Atlanta Hawks. I think he and Trae Young are going to get along just fine. I mean, I think that it's going to be like the relationship that he had with Donovan Mitchell. And I'm excited to see Quinn Snyder as an NBA head coach again. I think Quinn Snyder is a great coach.
Well, let me start by this. I like this hire by the Atlanta Hawks. I'm surprised that Quinn Snyder decided to take the job because I could see like other openings this summer, like the Bulls getting rid of Billy Donovan, even though Billy Donovan I think would be scapegoated in my opinion because it's not him, it's the talent doesn't fit. There's talk that maybe Darvin Ham could go one and done in LA. Who knows? If LA doesn't make the play-in tournament, that could be a possibility. But there's, I thought there would be better jobs out there for Quinn Snyder. I'm surprised that he took the Atlanta Hawks job. But I think his biggest thing that he's got to do right now is get a relationship with Trae Young. Because if he can start up and maintain a great relationship with Trae Young, that's going to be the whole key to resuscitating the Hawks. The Hawks have a lot of talent. They don't play much defense. DeJounte Murray, Trae Young, they're a great scoring combination, but they're not really a great defensive combination. So that's going to really needs a lot of work. So I do like this hire by the Hawks. I'm surprised that Quinn Snyder actually decided he wanted to take the Hawks job. And I think it's going to work out, but only if he has a great relationship with Trae Young.
Which I think he will. I have faith in that, With that hire, I really think that the Atlanta Hawks will be better, and I think that they will still make the playoffs under his leadership. But I do think that Quinn Snyder's first full season in Atlanta won't be until next year.
No, it won't be. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs this year. They might. I mean, they're in the 8th seed right now. And they've been very inconsistent. But I think overall, I think it's a good hire because I think the Hawks are looking towards the future. I think they want to build a sustainable product. And I think that you could do it with Quinn Snyder, but the key is you're going to have to get a good relationship with Trae Young.
Now we move on to the NFL. And Isaiah, you have a lot to say on Jalen Carter, your defensive lineman from Georgia, whom is likely a top 3 pick in the upcoming draft, has a warrant arrest for his reckless driving and racing. I'll tell you, you can't do that. I mean, reckless driving, that I don't think it's going to drop his draft stock. I do think that he's going to still be a top 3 or a top 4 pick in this upcoming draft.
My thoughts on it is pure stupidity, man. Look, when teams win championships, it's the most glorious thing ever. But you got to be smart, man. After you win a championship, you can't go out and do stupid stuff to wreck your life. I mean, look at Stetson Bennett. That guy partied so hard, he got arrested. He got arrested for being disorderly drunk or whatever it was. And then now Jalen Carter, like Jalen Carter was supposed to be a top 3 pick, and now he's got an arrest out for or a warrant out for his arrest. It's pure stupidity. I know they're college kids, but still, like, you won a championship, party, celebrate, but don't go over the top, man. And that's what it was. This was over the top. Jalen Carter and his buddy was they were drunk. They were driving super fast, and unfortunately, his buddy and the girl that I guess he was dating ended up getting into a car accident, and it costed them their lives. And thankfully, Jalen Carter wasn't involved, or wasn't the person that hit his friend and the lady, because he would never play in the NFL if that would have happened. But, it's just pure stupidity, man. Like, why are you going to do this? Like, yeah, celebrate that you won a championship, but don't go over the top. And that's why I always say, alcohol is good sometimes, but it's mostly bad. And this is why I don't drink. And I don't recommend anybody else to drink. It's because when you drink, you end up doing stupid stuff, and it not only wrecks you today, but it wrecks you for your future as well.
Well, we got to talk about Carson Wentz now being released by the Washington Commanders. You know what? I think this is a good move. I think that the Commanders are going to turn to Sam Howell at quarterback here, and knowing that Eric Bieniemy is not going to run their offense, he's going to design that offense, whoever the quarterback is, based on their strengths.
Well, Laurel, don't forget that Ron Rivera in his combine press conference today said that, like, he doesn't guarantee that Sam Howell will be the starter. Instead, he said that he's not ruling out drafting a quarterback in the draft or even picking up a veteran quarterback. So it could mean Derek Carr to Washington, potentially Aaron Rodgers to Washington, maybe. But yeah, there's a lot of moving parts going on there. I think Carson Wentz, I think he had to go just because we all knew that once he was benched that Carson Wentz's days in Washington was numbered. So he had to go. He wasn't going to be the starter moving forward. But when you look at Washington, I'm very interested to see who they get as their quarterback, just because, like, I know Eric Bieniemy is a brilliant offensive mind. He's going to craft great game plans for his quarterback and make them so much better. So I'm interested to see where or who they do get as quarterback, whether that's Sam Howell or whether that's someone else, like a Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers, or maybe something happens in the draft and they trade up for Anthony Richardson. Who knows? But like, Carson Wentz needed to go. I'm not surprised. And as far as where Wentz goes next, I don't know, man. I think that he might have played himself out of the league. I think that you're gonna have teams that
That's
want
what Christie said. It could be XFL or USFL. We'll see.
Yeah, like, I think that when you look at Carson Wentz, I don't know if he'd be willing to accept the backup job, because he always wants to be the starter and he's got a big ego. So I don't know if he's willing to accept the backup job. If he's willing to accept the backup job, there's a lot of teams that I think could be in play, but it's only if he's willing to accept the backup job. Like, if he's willing to accept the backup job, I think the 49ers, no doubt about it, given all their injuries, should take a flyer on Carson Wentz as a backup. But it all depends if Carson Wentz wants to be a backup.
Well, we got to talk about this in Carolina. The Panthers are starting to have talks with Sam Darnold about a new contract. If that were to happen, how likely would Frank Reich make him his starter?
I think very likely, because I think that whomever they draft, they want to sit for a year and develop him while they have a bridge quarterback. So I think that if Darnold does in fact become, or he does in fact get extended by the Panthers or gets a new deal, I do think that that he'll end up be the starter just for a year, and then And then the new guy comes in. But hey, don't count out Sam Darnold. I mean, this guy's got some potential. He was a top pick for a reason, and Frank Reich's a quarterback guru. He's a quarterback whisperer. And every time he's worked with a quarterback, besides Matt Ryan, they have turned out really, really well. So I could see him doing magic with Sam Darnold.
Maybe comeback player of the year candidate for next year.
Yeah, maybe.
That's what I'm thinking if he does commit to Sam Darnold, because I think Frank Reich needs to commit to a long-term quarterback in Carolina, which I'm confident that he will. And my views of Carolina haven't changed about winning the division next year. I still think they are the favorites to win the NFC South next year, even though it's wide open.
Let me tell you this, though, Laurel. Don't count out Kyle Trask. Because Kyle Trask, I watched him at Florida. This guy's a gunslinger. This guy's got a cannon of an arm. He went in the second round for a reason. There's talent in him. And I think that...
And he will be... I think the Buccaneers are going to go with Kyle Trask next year, quarterback.
And I hope they go with Kyle Trask because I think that they'll be very successful with it. But and you got to give him an opportunity because you're not going to draft the second round pick to have him on the bench. But I think that when you look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, and the New Orleans Saints, New Orleans is going to be in mediocrity. I don't trust them. They have no quarterback. Tampa Bay, it depends what they do at the position. But yeah, I think it's
Atlanta, if they don't get Lamar Jackson, I still have faith. I like Desmond Ridder, and I think that's Arthur Smith's guy.
Yeah, but I think that right now it depends I think it's going to go down to Tampa and Carolina because I think Tampa Bay, I like Trask. I think that he could be a huge boom candidate. And also I do think that Carolina, I think they're going to get either Sam Darnold or they're going to get a veteran to be a mentor to their young rookie quarterback.
I want Anthony Richardson to be a Panther, and I want him to start right away because of how good he is as a runner and as a passer. Frank Reich can unleash his skills.
I want Will Levis for them. That's the guy I want. I think he's a guy that's like big, great pocket passer, and I think he will fit Frank Reich's scheme excellently.
That's why I think that if Will Levis is a Panther, I see Will Levis starting right away.
Oh, yeah. Will Levis is he's the most ready NFL quarterback.
Here's my breakdown of which quarterbacks are week one ready. For sure, Bryce Young. For sure, C.J. Stroud. And for sure, Will Levis.
That's the same three I got. I think Anthony Richardson, he's like Trey Lance. He needs to sit a year because his throws are not that good. They're not that accurate.
Here's what I would do with Anthony Richardson if he's just a reclamation project. You could put him in the pistol offense. Like, for example, I'll give you. If he's a Lion, Jared Goff starts, and if they line up in pistol plays or like QB draws, I would put Anthony Richardson in those situations.
Have him be a runner, you mean?
Yeah, kind of like the Taysom Hill kind of thing, so that you can find a way to get him involved in the offense.
I could see that. But hey,
that's what my thinking is with Anthony Richardson. But I'm saying that Young, Stroud, and Levis are the three I expect to be starting in week one.
Well, there's another quarterback that I think could also start week one, but I don't think he's going to go in the first round, and that is Stetson Bennett. I think he's also a very ready NFL quarterback right now because he played in an NFL scheme in college. And also, you look at, I think a lot of teams, Laurel, are going to be influenced by what Brock Purdy did with the Niners. Drafting a guy that played in an NFL scheme, whether it's late first round or whatever, or maybe second round, third round, fourth round, and just have him be a plug in and play right away because he spent 4 or 5 years in college. He's experienced. He played in an NFL type of an offense, so he has experience with the scheme, and he's just he's ready right away. And I think that's what Stetson Bennett is. I think he could be the next Brock Purdy.
Next up here, we got to talk about the Falcons. They are releasing Marcus Mariota. I think the Falcons at this point, I would think Lamar Jackson's going to do wonders there if he's out of Baltimore. But I'm also prepared for Desmond Ridder to start.
This move tells me one thing and one thing only. Lamar Jackson's coming to the ATL because Listen, I like Desmond Ritter, but he was very raw last year. He was very, very raw, and I think the Falcons know they got to get a quarterback. They got to get a proven quarterback, and when they released him, they saved $12 million in salary cap, and they already have one of the highest salary caps available to use in the NFL. So, it gives the Falcons even more money to throw at potentially getting Lamar Jackson. They have the draft picks. They have the pieces necessary to get Lamar, and Lamar fits Arthur Smith's scheme, and I think he would do very well in Arthur Smith's scheme. So
that's what I said. I said that to you, Isaiah. Lamar Jackson will flourish in the Arthur Smith-led offense because Arthur Smith runs a West Coast style offense. And that offense is kind of like the Greg Roman offense.
Exactly. I think that Lamar, I think he would thrive in Atlanta, and I think that this move just shows me that, number one, Mariota, I think he was going to get cut anyways, just because of how he reportedly quit on the team after getting benched the final 2 weeks of the season. He had surgery, and he didn't like getting benched. He had massive displeasure with getting benched. But, I think that this signals that Lamar's coming. I think that I would be shocked if Lamar Jackson is not a Baltimore Raven by opening day, just because, of all the reasons I outlined. The Falcons need a quarterback. They just released a guy to save $12 million in salary cap. They have a lot, way more salary cap now. It just makes too much sense not to happen.
We have to talk about my Patriots here before we talk about the Seahawks. So Jerry Jeudy is right now on the trade market, but also the Patriots are working out free agent wide receiver Slade Bolden. And Slade Bolden was Mac Jones's college roommate. And I'm telling you, Mac Jones is definitely recruiting Slade Bolden to New England. But Jerry Jeudy, who I think is likely going to be on the trade block, I'm not ruling out Jerry Jeudy coming to my Patriots and reuniting with my man Mac Jones and get that Bama reunion together.
I think Slade Bolden would be an interesting pickup for you guys. He kind of reminds me of a younger Wes Welker, a small little guy that goes over the middle, catches a lot of passes, and then people can't really track him down because he's so damn fast and he's so damn little. So I think he would be, a good addition. Not if he's your number one, then no. But if he's, your number 4, number 5 receiver, then okay. Yeah, I think he would be great. But as far as Jerry Jeudy is concerned, I don't know if Denver will trade him because I think he would be a great fit for Sean Payton's offense. I think that's
kind of my thinking there. I like Jerry Jeudy. He went to my college football school. Jerry Jeudy has a lot of potential to be a top 5 receiver in the league. I just felt like that the first 3 years he wasn't utilized correctly.
No, he wasn't. And, I think he would be a great fit for the Patriots. The Patriots definitely need to upgrade their wide receiving room.
I did hear that the Patriots might be I like Jacoby Myers, but he's not really a receiver that's very shifty, playmaking and all that. Mac Jones just likes to throw to him on third down. He was one of our best receivers last year. But if we move on from him, I would be okay with it.
Well, if I'm the Patriots right now, and I said this yesterday in our group chat, I would go get Kenny Golladay because, he's injury prone, but Kenny Golladay in the right system is an absolute monster.
Look, I think do you think that the Bill O'Brien system will still be run first and then a mix of 2 tight end sets and all that?
I think he's gonna be different because I think that he's innovated it from his scheme at Bama. Bama was more of a pass-happy scheme. They didn't really run the football a whole lot there at Alabama. And it was a lot more you saw a lot of 4 wide receiver sets, 5 wide receiver sets sometimes. So I think it's going to be more like that. I think it's going to be more of that Alabama offense that Bama runs.
I'm excited to see that the modernized offense that the Patriots got here. And I do think that that's going to happen here. But anyways, here, John Schneider, the Seahawks GM, says that they're considering drafting a quarterback at number 5. You know what, Isaiah? If that were to happen, it's Anthony Richardson, who I think they could use as a project.
The NFL draft, Low Roll, just got a lot interesting with John Schneider's comments, because before he made his comments, nobody expected the Seahawks to draft a quarterback. Everybody was like, okay, it's gonna be, they're gonna draft something else because they're gonna re-sign Geno Smith, and you definitely need to re-sign Geno Smith because he did an outstanding job for you last year. But when I look at it now, after he said what he did, it makes me think that the number one, these negotiations with Geno are not going so well, and number two, the Seahawks don't want to pay a lot of money for quarterbacks. So, I think that if they do draft a quarterback, Will Levis or Anthony Richardson could be their guy. We've heard the Bears are trying to trade the number 1 pick, but I doubt that happens. But if they get Will Levis with that big arm that he's had and that NFL ready prospect that he is, I think I could see him jumping in there right away and just dominating in Seattle because he's got the pieces. He's got Metcalf, he's got Tyler Lockett there, and he's got a good running back in Kenneth Walker.
If Levis is in Seattle, I see him starting over Geno Smith.
No, I don't think Geno Smith even is brought back if Will Levis is drafted by the Seahawks. I think that if Will Levis is drafted by the Seahawks, I don't think Geno's even going to be there. I think that if Anthony Richardson is drafted, I do think that Geno will be back, but for 1 more year or 2 more years. But if Will Levis is drafted, it's going to be the Will Levis show all day.
I have a bold take for you about my NFL mock draft when we do it. I have the Chicago Bears trading back to the number 4 spot, and then I have the Colts moving up in the draft, and they have the number 1 pick.
I could see it, especially after Jim Irsay was talking so highly about Bryce Young. So I could definitely see that.
Because I see the Colts moving up to that number 1 spot to either get Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. But for those who are wondering what I'm doing with this, and I have with the first pick in the NFL draft in my mock draft, I have the Indianapolis Colts getting the pick from the Chicago Bears with the first pick, and I have them selecting CJ Stroud from Ohio State.
Well, I have I don't know who I have right now because I need to watch the combine and also.
No, I was saying that I have the Colts moving up in the draft, and I have them getting CJ Stroud.
Yeah, but
no, I have Bryce Young going to Houston, and then I have CJ Stroud going to Indy, and I think those two will be your week 1 starters. Which you think, right? Bryce Young starts for Houston in week 1, and then CJ Stroud starts for Indianapolis week 1.
I'll tell you this. I'm not going to reveal my draft, but I do think it's going to be Stroud. It's going to be Young number 1 and then Stroud number 2. The teams will be determined based on what happens in free agency and also what happens in the combine. Because, hey, free agency is only 11 days away, and we're going to be doing a free agency prediction next week, so tune in for that. But hey, I need to see what happens.
Free agent predictions on the extra point.
Yes, we're gonna have our free agency predictions. Full list of your top. We're not even gonna talk about like any of the stories. It's just gonna be like your top 20 free agents that are free agents, not tag players, but top 20 free agents that are actual free agents, and we're gonna be picking like where they all go. So tune in for that next week.
Ooh, I can't wait. I have some good ones for you guys here. But for Seattle, I like Geno Smith, but I'm going to tell you, I think they go Will Levis here. I really think that he will start in week 1 for Seattle.
I think they either go with Will Levis or Anthony Richardson, just because I think that the GM – with him making those comments, it just shook up the draft and made the draft a lot more interesting than what it was without him making the comments. I think that
shakes up my mock draft,
Yeah,
That's going to shake up everything based on what you said. But we got to talk about Ran Carthon, who was in your neck of the woods. Now he said something about Ryan Tannehill. Do I agree with it? No, because I feel like that you gotta start Malik Willis next year. But I just don't think, based on Ran Carthon's comments, I think that he wants Ryan to see what you have in Ryan Tannehill. Malik Willis is going to need another year of development.
I think Rand Carton and the Titans made a bad decision by sticking with Ryan Tannehill.
They did. I think Ran Carthon has the potential to be a great general manager in the NFL. He's a people person, like John Lynch said, and Ran Carthon is going to do a great job at the Titans, which I feel like he will. But I just felt like that this was not a good decision by Ran Carthon. I don't really agree. I'm not going to agree with everything he says.
I agree. I don't think this was a good decision by Tennessee, just because Ryan Tannehill, we know what he is. He's a bland quarterback. He's a guy that you can't trust him to put the team on his back to drive you to the playoffs. No. He's a guy that's going to rely on Derrick Henry. And we see the results, man. We see what he could do and what he is. He's a product of the talent around him. He's a product of the system. And last year you saw the same thing. When Derrick Henry was there, Ryan Tannehill was there, all the defenses just did was stack the box, make Ryan Tannehill beat you, and he can't. He can't beat you. And so I think that the Titans are making a bad decision. I think that they got to go with a more aggressive quarterback, a quarterback that can just sling it up and down the field. And I think that if you're Tennessee, you got to be a lot more aggressive because this quarterback market is wide open. I mean, you have a lot of these guys, Geno Smith, Derek Carr, who's available. I think what the Tennessee Titans honestly should do, Loro, is I think they should get Aaron Rodgers, because I think he would be that aggressive quarterback that you can no longer.
I wouldn't say Aaron Rodgers would be a Tennessee Titan because I want to see what the Titans have in Malik Willis. They drafted him in the third round for a reason, and I do think that eventually he's going to be the guy that's going to take over. When I get Madden next year, I'm definitely starting Malik Willis over Ryan Tannehill.
Well, I think Malik Willis, you're right. He doesn't need a year of development because we saw against Kansas City and we saw in the games that he played that he was not good. He was not good at all, and that's why they ended up starting Joshua Dobbs against the Jacksonville Jaguars late in the season. But Malik Willis needs some time. But if I'm Tennessee, I'm going after Aaron Rodgers just because he's a guy that can help you win right away. Like if you want to do a quarterback change, you got to make a splash. You got to go for the aggressive move, and you got to go get Aaron Rodgers because it just seems like Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are just done with each other at this point.
I still predict Aaron Rodgers is going to be a New York Jet in my eyes.
That's what I predict because I think the Jets will be super aggressive to go get him. But I think Tennessee, you got to be in that mix as well.
No, I have Aaron Rodgers being in the Big Apple, and I think that with the offense that they have and Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, Breece Hall, I think he will thrive in that offense. And I also think that he would want to play for Nathaniel Hackett again.
Yeah.
So, anyways, here, my other thoughts on Tannehill is that I think that he shouldn't be the starter if I were Tennessee. I think that they got to go with Malik Willis because that's who they drafted for the future. Because I think that he would make the Titans even a little bit better offensively. And I think that over time, I think the coaches will work with him.
Well, I think he needs time to develop. So if you're not going to go after an Aaron Rodgers or a superstar veteran quarterback, then I think it is smart to stick with Ryan Tannehill. But he's a bland quarterback, and we all know he's not your future there in Tennessee. He's most likely going to be there next year, and then that's about it. So, I mean, you're basically punting the season away if you're the Titans. You have Tannehill. Yeah, Tannehill will lead you to a respectable 7-10, 9-8-9, 9-8 record. But Are you going to win a Super Bowl? No. Are you going to get to the AFC Championship? No. All you're just going to do is just be respectable. That's about it.
Anyways, with that being said here now, Ravens GM John Harbaugh remains optimistic on a contract here for the Ravens. So do you believe in those comments by John Harbaugh?
No. No way whatsoever. And here's why. Because of the action that the Ravens have taken. It seems like the Ravens are doing everything opposite of trying to build around Lamar Jackson. You don't hire Todd Monken, who's a pass-happy offensive coordinator whose scheme is basically dedicated to the pass. You don't hire him when your quarterback's biggest weakness is the pass. You just don't. It makes no sense whatsoever. Like,
I have a debate for you, Isaiah, about who's I think will be the starting quarterback for the Ravens if it's not Lamar Jackson. I like Tyler Huntley. John Harbaugh likes Tyler Huntley.
For me, I'm going to go with the answer I've had from the beginning. I think it's going to be Stetson Bennett because of his connection with Todd Monken, his history there. He knows the scheme through and through. He's a guy that, has won championships at Georgia. He is one of the most NFL ready quarterbacks in this draft. And, Baltimore, I think, will be willing to take a chance on him just because he's going to have a lot of talent around him. And you're not going to rely on Stetson Bennett to have to, throw the ball like 50, 60 times and put the team on his back. No, you have a lot of talent around him, and he's going to shine because of that talent.
Well, you're right about that, but anyways, Derek Carr, however, met with the Panthers and Saints. The Jets are still to come. Isaiah, based on his meetings, I feel like the Saints are still the favorites to land Derek Carr.
If I was Derek Carr, I would go to the Panthers just because I think that Derek Carr and Frank Reich would be something magical and special. And I think Frank Reich could resurrect Derek Carr's career. But I also think that the Jets talk, I think like that is legit, but I think the Jets are waiting on Aaron Rodgers. I really believe the Jets, it seems like to me that the Jets are trying to, like Derek Carr's a backup plan, just in case they can't get Aaron Rodgers, then he's going to be their choice. New Orleans, I don't know. I mean, he has a relationship with Dennis Allen, but I don't know. I think that the Saints, for me, would be my third choice just because, Michael Thomas might not be there. Alvin Kamara is a free agent. So it's like you don't have weapons around him. He's going to look not that great in New Orleans without any weapons with the rushing attack and the passing attack.
So anyways, Joe Douglas says this. He said this recently. Brian Costello of the New York Post said that Joe Douglas remains confident in Zach Wilson and he will hit his very high ceiling. What is your thoughts on that comment from Joe Douglas?
My thoughts on that is I believe Joe Douglas. I think that he's telling the truth when it comes to the Jets, when it comes to what he thinks about Zach Wilson. But I don't think the owner will let him get Zach Wilson for another year just because you have Aaron Rodgers available. And if Aaron Rodgers is truly available, he's going to get him because, number one, you need superstars to sell tickets in New York. And also, the Jets haven't had a franchise quarterback in a long, long time. And Woody Johnson loves the flashy toys. He loves the big names. He loves the celebrities. So Aaron Rodgers is out there. He's going to do all he can and pressure his front office and his coaching staff to go all out to try to get Aaron Rodgers.
I had to bring this up because Joe Douglas still believes in Zach Wilson. Would you be shocked if Zach Wilson was the Week 1 starter?
I would be. I think that if I had to make a pick right now, I think Zach Wilson will be on another team come Week 1.
Why would you say that Zach Wilson will be on a different team in Week 1?
Just because I think that both sides want it. I don't think Zach wants to be a backup. I don't think that like Zach was very happy with the way the fan base treated him and just booed him off the field every single game, and basically booed him badly after every mistake. I just think Zach Wilson would benefit from a change of scenery, and I think that Zach Wilson, like, he needs to go somewhere with an actual like great offensive quarterback guru. That's why I suggested San Francisco. I think San Francisco would be the best place for him to revitalize his career. He could be the backup, backup Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, whatever, and then let Kyle Shanahan and his coaching staff develop you and put you in great positions to succeed. Because any quarterback that works with Shanahan ends up having a career year and ends up turning around their career. If I'm Zach Wilson, that's the one place I am going, and I'm going there right now.
That is a bold prediction right there on Zach Wilson. But probably you're not going to count on Zach Wilson being the Jets starter.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't if I was the Jets.
Anyways, here, with that being said, we're going to talk some baseball here. Gavin Lux has torn his ACL, and he's out for the season. I think this is a big blow for the Dodgers. I've had high hopes for him. I think he was going to go all out this year. But you know what? I am confident that after he's out for this season, he is going to come back stronger than ever. Chardol, that's a good question you have for me. I'm kind of bummed that he's out for the season, but am I a little concerned? A little bit, but at the same time, I feel like that the Dodgers are good with utilizing depth and knowing that Chris Taylor or Miguel Rojas, they're very capable of playing shortstop. I really think that both of them will step up when they have to. And I do think that Taylor will get most of the starts at shortstop, and then if there's a certain matchup that Dave Roberts likes, he will put Miguel Rojas in the lineup.
I agree with you, Laurel. This is a big injury. It was a big blow for the Dodgers. Gavin Lux, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't Gavin Lux supposed to be the Dodgers starting shortstop?
He was. It was Gavin Lux.
So yeah, so you lose your starting shortstop. Gavin Lux was projected to have a big year this year, and it's that injury that he suffered was so freakish and it was so nasty, and I really hope that he gets well. He has a speedy recovery, but that injury looked really, really rough, and I feel so bad for the guy. But I think that when you look at the Dodgers, I think, like Laurel, you mentioned, I think the Dodgers will be fine. But if I'm the Dodgers right now that you have to move Chris Taylor back to shortstop, you could also put Miguel Rojas at shortstop because he played shortstop, and you can move Taylor to second base.
And Miguel Rojas, no, you have my guy on my profile picture who I really am excited about, Miguel Vargas. He's going to start at second base. Chris Taylor, I think, is going to shift from shortstop to center field at times.
That could happen. But now, like, the Dodgers, they would have to move one of the players from the outfield to the infield. And if I'm the Dodgers,
Chris Taylor is going to be basically playing shortstop and will get some reps in center field too.
Yeah, but don't rule out Jason Hayward because he's also a reclamation project for the Dodgers.
Yeah, Jason Hayward's been he's been swinging a great bat lately in spring training, and his swing looks amazing. And I do think that it's going to get better, and I think that I like Hayward, but I'm rolling with my guy James Outman, who I think that this basically opened a roster spot for him. I think James Outman is going to be a guy that's going to be a stud of a center fielder. He's going to be a fantastic hitter for us. David Peralta, who we got. He's
an underrated player.
David Peralta, I think, is going to be a great fit for us. I wanted to see him in that same lineup with Gavin Lux. When I get MLB The Show, I'm still going to have Gavin Lux play short, and then Vargy at second, and then David Peralta in left field. But you know what? Without Lux, I am confident that we are still going to have a great team on the field, and I do think that despite this loss, I think the Dodgers, the Dodgers they're still gonna kill it this year. The Dodgers are doing Dodger things.
No, the Dodgers will still be good. They'll still be good, but it's a big blow for sure. But I think that if you're LA right now, you do have the depth to be able to overcome this loss. I was gonna suggest if I'm the Dodgers, you know what I do right now, and I think this might be kind of a crazy take, but I would trade for Max Kepler because you trade for Kepler. Because the Twins need to get rid of their outfielders. Let's face it, they have too many outfielders.
Look, you could still start Kepler in right, and you could put Gallo in left and Buxton in center. That is a good outfield for you.
They do, but don't they have another couple outfielders too that they also could start?
I'm not quite sure on that, but we'll see. I still think Max Kepler is going to end up starting for the Twins.
They could, but I think right now, if you're the Dodgers, right, you could go get Max Kepler. It seems like the Twins want to unload some of their outfielders because they have so many of them. But then you could have an outfield of basically, you would put what, Kepler at left at this point if you did get him?
That could potentially happen there.
Or yeah, you put him in center. I mean, that could happen, yeah. Make your lineup even more deeper.
Yeah, but I don't think the Dodgers need Max Kepler. I'm happy with what we have, though.
Yeah.
So, anyways, with that being said here, talk about your Phillies here. How are they looking in spring training here? I really think that 4-1 in the Grapefruit League. I know that doesn't matter. I'm more excited about when it comes to the Philadelphia Phillies about the lineup featuring Trey Turner, Bryce Harper when he comes back from Tommy John surgery.
Yes.
When he comes back from Tommy John surgery, where do you expect Bryce Harper? Right field or DH?
I think to start off it'll be DH, but then they'll have him in right field most likely. Just to you don't want that elbow. You don't want to put a lot of pressure on that elbow right away.
Yeah, but I'm excited. So Bryce Harper should be back late April to early May.
I thought they were saying July, actually. I thought that's what Dave Dombrowski said at his press conference the other day.
Let me take a look at that. I mean, Bryce Harper is a guy that I really – well, actually, Bryce Harper – well, Bryce Harper is ahead of schedule in his recovery from Tommy John surgery, but I did hear he's going to be reporting to camp in a couple of weeks.
Hey, that's great news, but hey, don't rush Harper because he's our superstar. We need him. But the lineup, I mean, we have a very talented team. I think we'll be able to roll with that.
How about this lineup? I want to break up the right-handed batters because I want to move Bryson Stott to at least the top of the lineup.
Well, Schwarber is going to be leading off because that's what he typically likes to do. And then you're going to have what?
In my projected lineup for the Phillies, I have Trey Turner leading off.
I could see it, but I think it's going to be Trey.
And then batting second, I have Harper. Hitting third, I have Real Muto. Hitting fourth, I have Kyle Schwarber because I want to see him hit grand slams. And then I have Castellanos fifth. And then the sixth hitter is Bryson Stott.
For me, I got Schwarber leading off, and then Turner, I think, would be the second place hitter, and then you would have Harper be the third when he comes back. I would honestly put Real Muto as the cleanup hitter, and then probably go with. Don't forget about Rhys Hoskins too. Yeah, Hoskins.
I have Hoskins hitting in my projected lineup. I have Rhys Hoskins hitting after Stott.
I would probably go with Real Muto and then Hoskins and then Castellanos, just because he had a down year last year.
I want to break up that lineup for some break up with the left-handed bats that the Phillies have, because you still have Brandon Marsh.
You do, but he's going to be a bottom of the order guy because that guy, he's very fast, but he's not that great of a hitter.
Marsh would be 8 or 9, in my opinion.
Yep. And then you have Bohm too.
Yeah, I have
Bohm.
I have Bohm hitting 8th, and I have hitting 5th. I have Castellanos, and then I have Hoskins 6th.
Wow, you have Castellanos hitting 8th? Dang.
Castellanos 5th, and then I have Bohm hitting 8th
Oh,
after I have Stott hitting 7th.
Well, I could also see Bohm hitting 2nd too, just because he actually thrived as our number 2 hitter last year.
Alec Bohm is gonna be good, but talk about the bullpen for the Phillies. It's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be hard throwing. It's gonna be excellent. It's gonna be a lot of 100-mile-an-hour plus fastballs coming right at you. It's gonna be glorious to watch.
I like who's going to be the closer? I think it's going to be Craig Kimbrell still.
I think it's going to be Kimbrell to start, and then we'll see how he does in that role. Like if he struggles, then I think Sir Anthony Dominguez, Jose Alvarado.
No, I like Gregory Soto has great stuff.
Oh, he does. He does.
And I think Gregory Soto is going to be a guy that I really think is going to help with the back end of the bullpen for the Philadelphia Phillies. And I also think Alvarado, I saw him last year in the Dodger game I went to, and he was out of control.
Yeah, he was.
And he was getting lit up again, but I know that when Alvarado's right, he is a good high leverage lefty out of the bullpen.
He is, and let me just say this. Before we go to our last topic for the night about the breakout players. I think that Soto, don't be surprised if he's closing too, because he was a closer in Detroit. He was actually a really good closer in Detroit.
Yeah, and how optimistic are you, Isaiah, about Rob Thompson in his first full season as the skipper of your Phillies?
I think that I think he's in a very pressurized spot, just because if the Phillies tank this year, Laurel, like let's say they have a terrible year, or let's say they miss the playoffs and they win only like 70, 80 games, I think Rob Thompson could be fired, because I think that the expectations are just so high. And remember, he only got a 2-year contract. That's only it he got. So Dave Dombrowski is still in the process of evaluating him, and he didn't really give him a strong vote of confidence either.
So you're saying is that Dave Dombrowski is not giving Rob Thompson the full of confidence here?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
So you're saying is that if the Phillies, I think the Phillies are going to be a great team, but say if they miss the playoffs despite having a winning record, you think that Dombrowski might fire Thompson and then restart and start the process for a new skipper that could help with the Phillies here?
Yes, I truly believe that.
And would it be a bad thing if Rob Thompson was fired?
No, because I think that I don't know if Thompson is Dombrowski's guy. That's what I would think.
That's kind of the thing here. I think that if Rob Thompson is one and done, because like you said, that's not really Dombrowski's guy. I would go with Joe Madden.
You know what? I don't know who I would go with. That's a big question.
I like Joe Madden, by the way. Joe Madden would, if he were the Phillies manager, I think he would be a great fit there.
Yeah.
And Joe Madden knows how to win.
Yep.
So, anyways, here we got to make this debate here before we close it out. Tell us I'm gonna look it up here. So you said something amongst who is going to be this, one player will have a breakout season in 23. I said Miguel Vargas, but I'm going to go with him. But I'm actually going to go with Isaiah first on this. I'm going to have some time to think about this.
Here's my choice. Shintaro Fujinami, the Japanese pitcher for the Oakland A's. He signed a 1-year deal, and I'm telling you guys right now, this guy was him and Shohei Ohtani, when they both came out of high school, were the two most hyped up high schoolers out of Japan in the history of Japanese baseball. He's got elite stuff. He's got a nasty splitter. He's got a fastball that goes from 96 to 102. His stuff is amazing. But the reason why he did not do well in Japan, especially his final couple of years, is because his command really went down the drain. If he could somehow, some way, get his command back to what it was the first 4 or 5 years he was pitching in the Japanese league, where he dominated alongside Shohei Ohtani, I think that this guy is going to have an all-star caliber year. I think he's going to be mentioned as one of the top pitchers in all of baseball. And I could see him, unfortunately, Loro, at the trade deadline, getting traded from the A's because he's only on a 1-year deal.
That could happen, but I'm going to say this. My breakout player heading into this season, I'm going with my guy, Miguel Vargas. You know him. He's on my profile picture. I have a lot of faith in this kid. He's going to develop as a great hitter. I think his defense at second base is going to be amazing, but also don't rule out another guy, Corbin Carroll of the Arizona Diamondbacks. That guy is going to rake. He's going to be a great hitter, but he's also going to make great plays in the outfield.
Well, and I'll also say this, another guy before we close it out is Mickey Moniak, because remember, this guy was on a tier with the Angels before he got hurt, and then he got hurt, came back, and then he hit another couple of home runs before the season ended, and now he's going to have a full healthy off season. He is in camp. He's going to be the Angels' starting center fielder. He's going to have a lot of playing time. He's going to have a lot of at-bats, and he's going to have a lot of chances to try to shine on the big stage.
No, Mike Trout is going to start in center field.
Right field. My bad, right field.
So you're saying what about Renfroe? You forgot about Hunter Renfroe. He's there too.
He's there as well. Trout's there. I don't know if they'll have Trout be, he's going to be in the center. That is true. They've been playing Moniak a lot in center. Throughout the
Maybe you move Trout. You might move Mike Trout to left field.
You might move Trout to left and then put Moniak in center and then Renfroe in right. You could do that.
That's what I think I would do. That way, Mike Trout needs to keep his legs fresh. And left field's not really a position that is stressful.
No, it's not.
It covers less ground, and playing left field extends careers for outfielders.
Yep.
And I also think right field too also extends careers for outfielders too that are aging.
I agree, but I think left field is better for aging outfielders.
Absolutely. You are right about that. But Isaiah, it's been a great show. We have our NFL free agency show. We're going to use the extra point theme for that.
Yeah, and I can't wait for it, man. It's going to be fun, man. We're going to do it next week. We don't know what date yet. Me and Laura will talk about it, in this week as the week goes by, but make sure you tune in for that. We might do it probably next Monday or Tuesday, just because that's when I'm off from work, so we'll see what happens.
And next Monday or Tuesday, I work too, and we'll see how tired I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I have to write reports when I get home from games.
Oh wow, man! You're gonna be a busy man, Laurel. You're gonna be a busy man.
Yeah, because I'm a freelance writer for high school sports, and also a freelance writer for Back Sports Page. So there'll be times I might have to write some stuff.
Okay. But yeah, thanks to Chardot, Christy for tuning in tonight. Really appreciate you guys staying up late with us. But make sure you guys tune in to that NFL free agency show. And I can't wait, man. NFL free agency begins in 11 days. Combine this week.
And Isaiah, we need to change that batter up thing.
Yes, we do. And baseball season is coming up. We have spring training games already. So it's a great time to be.
So So you're gonna change that batter up theme, that way we can play the new intro and outro by the time we do a show before opening day.
Yeah, I'll have it ready before opening day for sure.
Just wondering. But anyways, for Isaiah, Loro signing off for now. Have a great day.
But I said, if you gave me Mahomes, if you gave me Lamar Jackson with his great legs and Mahomes' great arm, or you gave me Baker Mayfield, who would I want? I would want Baker Mayfield, and the reason why is because Baker Mayfield.
I really think that now this is the worst case scenario for the San Francisco 49ers, is that they're going to have to cut ties with Jimmy Garoppolo if I were them. What? Oh my God! Whoa, man!
In any event, Kyle Gibson is definitely my NL Cy Young Award winner. Rock on, Gibby.
And even
Oh
if
my!
you-
Oh!
No way! Oh my God!